Hey, everybody. Hey, good to see you. So good to see everyone. I miss you all. We are so excited about tonight. Tonight is the man, the guy, the gentleman. Well, gentleman I use loosely, but we love him, Walt Michael. But first, we're going to hear from my partner in Music Monday Land and one of the leaders here at Govans Presbyterian Church. Oh, by the way, my name is Lea Gilmore. I'm the Minister for Racial Justice and Multicultural Engagement and the first service music director here at Govans Presbyterian Church. And you are here at Music Mondays. And we are so thrilled that you're here. And now, Maria Wong, one of our leaders.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maria, and I am a member of Govans Presbyterian Church. I also work for the nonprofit arts organization Common Ground on the Hill. We are recording tonight's program as part of our work as a Maryland Folklife Center of the Maryland State Arts Council. The video will be archived on the Common Ground on the Hill official YouTube channel, where you can find other Govans Music Monday programs and many other videos. While you're on YouTube, also check out the Govans Presbyterian Church YouTube channel, which includes recordings of sermons and the Govans Racial Justice Speaker Series. There's a lot of great stuff, so I hope you'll take a look. And Lea, back to you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. Maria does incredible work here across the board. She's also a leader with the Racial Justice Ministry and more. But tonight, I get the distinct honor to introduce you to one of my closest friends. I think he's beyond friend. This is my brother who I love dearly. And the reason why I do what I do here and around the world is because of Walt Michael, because of what he taught me, because of the opportunities he gave me. So tonight, you are going to hear the incredible tones of Walt Michael, who is internationally known. He's written music for the Olympics. He's been all over the world, UK, on the continent, doing incredible music. And tonight, we're honored for him to be with us tonight. So everybody, let's hear it from Walt Michael. Yay! You guys stay mute. I'm the audience. Yay!
Wow. I don't know who that guy was you were talking about, Lea, but I'd like to meet him someday. Or as my friend Harry Orlove used to say, don't you know who I was? No, it's great to be here. It's good to see all these friends and familiar faces. And I have to say, I'm out of shape. This COVID thing, I've just done so many gigs out there playing these days. So I hope you'll bear with me. I thought, and Lea asked that I would do an evening of sing-alongs. And you remember those from many years back. And
but Walt, also feel free if there's a song you just like to share with us.
Yeah,
we would very much like to hear that as well.
Okay. Well, I did a little homework here and found some songs that have nice choruses on them. And feel free to sing. We can't hear one another. You all can hear me, but I can't hear you. So feel free to sing at the top of your lungs, even if you don't have the words right. But now Maria is going to put the song words in the chat. Is that right? Well, that's good. So I can read them too. Yeah. So I thought what I'd do is take you on a little journey tonight, singing songs that have meant a lot to me over the years, and especially starting. Well, I'll start off with songs about West Virginia. And when I was a college student, I went to McDowell County, West Virginia, and had these just amazing experiences with these incredibly disenfranchised people in the coal communities down there. But disenfranchised doesn't mean ignorant, and it doesn't mean out of touch. It just means disenfranchised. And there's some great music there, as we know, great Appalachian music that has its roots in white and black music. There's a lot of shared traditions. And this song doesn't actually come from there. It comes from a writer from the folk scene, a fellow named Bruce Phillips, or Utah Phillips, the golden voice of the great Southwest. That's how he billed himself. But he did that with good humor. He wrote some great songs, and this is one of them. And it describes the love that people have for the mountains, and what happens with so many disenfranchised people is that they generally have to leave so that they can be they can pursue a life and make enough money to get by. And this is a song about the beauty of that area and looking back at it. So sing it with me. We'll start off with the chorus. Oh, the green rolling hills of West Virginia are the nearest thing to heaven that I know. Though the times are sad and drear, and I cannot linger here, they'll keep me and never let me go. My daddy said, don't ever be a miner, for a miner's grave is all you'll ever own. There are hard times everywhere, I can't find a dime to spare. These are the worst times I've ever known. But the green rolling hills of West Virginia are the nearest place to heaven that I know. Though the times are sad and drear, and I cannot linger here, they'll keep me and never let me go. Now we know about Baltimore and all the Appalachian immigrants, right? So I'll move away to a crowded city. In some northern factory town, you'll find me there. Though I leave the past behind, I'll never change my mind. These troubled times are more than I can bear. But the green rolling hills of West Virginia are the nearest place to heaven that I know. Though the times are sad and drear, and I cannot linger here, they'll keep me and never let me go. Someday I'll go back to West Virginia, to those green rolling hills I love so well. Yes, someday I'll go home, and I know I'll right the wrong, and these troubled times will follow me no more. And those green rolling hills of West Virginia are the nearest place to heaven that I know. Though the times are sad and drear, and I cannot linger here, they'll keep me and never let me go. Thanks for singing along. Yeah, the love of the mountains. You just, they are wonderful. So one of the things we did as volunteers was we went to churches. And wow, what an experience that was, because, there are two kinds of music. There's secular and there's the religious music, and there is a meeting place, but there were a lot of people who would say, well, I got saved, and so I don't play that old time music anymore. And in fact, there was this guy down there named Cripple Cleve Klein, And I heard he was a good banjo player in his day, but his his daughter had found the Lord and took his banjo from him, because the banjo was the devil's instrument. And of course, she was right. You know? And so I went and bought him a banjo, and we recorded him, and that was great. He was just so cool. But anyway, a lot of these there were these wonderful hymns, and this one I like for a number of reasons. One is that it considers that musicians are angels, and we know that's not the case, but it's nice to get that descriptor every once in a while. So let's see. Here we are, Angel Band. I'll try to do justice to it. My latest sun is sinking fast, my race is nearly run. My strongest trials now are past, my triumph has begun. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home. Bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home. I've almost gained my heavenly home, my spirit loudly sings. The holy ones, behold, they come, I hear the noise of wings. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home. Bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home. I must be near the resting place of friends and kindred dear. I've brushed the dew on Jordan's banks, the crossing must be near. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home. Bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home.
again, that's Walt Michael. Thank you, everyone. My name's Lea Gilmore. I am the first service music director here at Govans Presbyterian Church. And you are here at Music Mondays at Govans Presbyterian with Walt Michael and our community sing. Thank you so much for being here, especially the people who've joined recently. And if this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Walt, I love singing that song with you. Thank you for singing it. Love it.
You know, it reminds me of I don't know if any of you have seen this painting, but if you go to the National Gallery, and there are, I think, 3 of these collections of 4 paintings by Thomas Cole, and it's called The Stages of Life, I think. And it's you know, he was one of the Hudson River School painters, just beautiful, and it's these paintings, the canvases are huge, and it's an experience to be in their presence. And one of them, well, it's basically about the journey of life, and so it's a child in a boat, and he's sort of praying, and the angels are sort of hovering over him, and then you can see that he's on his way to, as a young man, he's on his way to the Golden City, and you see it off in the distance. And then, but if you look, there's the river takes this little turn, and he doesn't get to the city, and all of a sudden he's in these rapids, and it's like Niagara Falls. This guy is really headed for big trouble. And of course, the final final canvas is him having come through, and he's there just completely beat up, and he's in this boat, and there are these bands of angels up in the sky waiting for him. It's really a beautiful, beautiful painting, and worth going to the National Museum to see. It's very powerful.
We have a question, Walt.
Yeah.
Suzanne would like to know, where is a good place for auto harp strings?
Well, generally in the closet. That's what most people do. But a good place to get auto harp strings. You know, I don't know, because there's so many builders now. I think just Googling it, you would be able to find it pretty easily. Of course, a set of strings is there's like 50 strings on that thing, so it's an investment of sorts. And I'm forgetting the name of the builder who makes so many of them. I wish I could be a better resource, but you Google it, you'll find it for sure. And if you have any trouble, just get back in touch with me, and I'll do some more research on it. This next song is called Farther Along. And this song, when I first heard it, I thought, God, this is so great, because it doesn't say, it doesn't give you any answers. And it also typifies or really illustrates this sense of these mountain people knowing that it's down the line where things are going to be okay. And having that sense that things are going to be okay is what gets them through. It's a good thinking for the pandemic, I think. Farther Along. Tempted and tried, we're off made to wander. Why it should be thus all the day long, while there are others living about us, never molested, though in the wrong. Farther along, we'll know all about it. Farther along, we'll understand why. Cheer up, my brothers, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. When death has come and have taken our loved ones. It leaves our home so lonely and drear. Then do we wonder why others prosper, living so wicked year after year. Farther along we'll know all about it. Farther along we'll understand why. Cheer up, my brothers, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. Faithful till death, said our loving Master. A few more days to labor and wait. Toils of the road, toils of the road will then seem as nothing as we sweep through the beautiful gates. Farther along we'll know all about it. Farther along we'll understand why. Cheer up, my brothers, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. And sorry about faltering on the lines there, but you know, that kind of sensibility and understanding, I mean, it sounds sort of like, oh, well, you know, easy to do. These are people whose you know, the mines have exploded. Hundreds of people killed in mining disasters because the owners of these mines weren't obeying safety standards. So when they talk about wicked people, this is what they're referring to. They're referring to the people who abuse them in these ways. And their faith takes them to a place where they can at least say, well, down the line, you know, we're okay right now. Let's, you know, it's essentially that hymn asks for justice, I think. That's why it appeals to me so much. It's asking for justice, and it's saying there just may not be any, right? So, any other questions while I stumble around here? This next song comes from Utah Phillips as well, and I like this one because it's a it's actually a song about getting old, and I know a lot of you probably remember the TV show Wagon Train. How many of you remember Wagon Train? Right, and then Wagon Train was this, it was the major, and then there was this cook named Charlie. Remember, Charlie was always, you know, he always sort of stumbling over things, and Major would get upset with him, and he also made really bad coffee and all that sort of thing. But he was what the cowboys refer to as the old woman, and the old woman in cowboy lore is the person the cowboy who's gotten too old to ride, you know, to be out there on the horse herding the cattle, but runs the chuck wagon. So it's sort of fallen to the elders to provide the food, and sort of a lonely existence. See if I can find my flat pick here. There it is. Now, Utah Phillips named the song the Goodnight Loving Trail, which it's just a great name. But there, in fact, was a Goodnight Loving cattle trail that went from New Mexico up into what's that state? Not Kansas, Oklahoma. I guess Kansas. Yeah, to Kansas City. And it went to Kansas City, and it was the trail in which these cattle from the Southwest would be driven to market. And it was owned by a Mr. Goodnight and a Mr. Loving. It was a partnership. So there's therefore the Goodnight Loving Trail. Too old to wrangle or ride on the swing. You beat the triangle, you curse everything. If dirt was a kingdom, you'd be the king. On the Goodnight Trail, on the Loving Trail. Our old woman's lonesome tonight, and your French heart blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. With your snake oil and herbs and your liniment too, you can do anything that a doctor can do, except find a cure for your own nasty stew. On the Goodnight Trail, on the Loving Trail. Our old woman's lonesome tonight, and your French heart blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. Well, the cook fire's out and the coffee's all gone. The boys are all up and they're raising the dawn. And you're still sitting there lost in a song. On the Goodnight Trail, on the Loving Trail. Our old woman's lonesome tonight, and your French heart blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. I know someday that I'll be just the same, wearing an apron instead of a name. No one can change it, and no one's to blame. 'Cause the desert's a book wrote in lizards and sage. It's easy to look like an old torn out page, all faded and cracked with the colors of age. On the Goodnight Trail, on the Loving Trail. Our old woman's lonesome tonight, and our French heart blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. Yeah. So there we are, getting old. Well, what a great songwriter. Bruce Phillips, he wrote so many wonderful songs. Rock, Salt, and Nails is another one of his songs. And he had a really great attitude. He believed that music belonged to people. And he fought against letting record companies and the music machine, take hold and control artists. He was great. Bruce Phillips. Utah Phillips.
So we'd like everyone to know that you can support Walt tonight. Our artists here at Music Mondays are completely volunteer, and we know how the last couple years have been for artists in this world. So you can support Walt just by clicking one link through PayPal. And the thing about it is you don't need a PayPal account because it's just set up so cool. Thank you, Maria Wong. And please support, and thank you. That's it. That was my commercial.
And I'd like to add that if there are proceeds tonight, I'd like to put them toward a Common Ground scholarship for
Amen.
anyone who needs it to come to.
And why don't you talk about Common Ground a little bit for those who don't know?
I think most folks here do know, but it's worth saying again. This summer at Traditions Weeks, we're going to have 3 Traditions Weeks, 2 virtually as we are here. And the third week is going to be in person, God willing and the creek don't rise, on the campus of McDaniel College. Wear your masks, show us your vaccination scars, and we'll take you in. And then we're going to have a festival on campus on that following Saturday, with air conditioning. And we're going to fold isn't that something? We'll have 3 wonderful venues, and Linda Van Hart will have her art out there in the same area where it's all made. We're really looking forward to this happening. So that's what Common Ground on the Hill does. You can take classes in art, music, dance, film, and we have some wonderful keynote speakers, people doing amazing work. So stay tuned and tell people about it. So the Carter family. Carter family is an interesting thing. They're known as the foundation of country music, and they're from down there in the Tri-City area, in the Bristol area. And it was A.P. Carter was the father and husband, and then there were these sisters. And the fact is that the sisters were really the musical power of the group. Mother Maybelle and I'm forgetting her name now. Help me, somebody. Maybelle and
June.
No, June.
That's the
June
sister.
Carter.
Pardon?
June Carter.
Yeah,
Sarah.
June was the daughter.
Sarah?
Sarah Carter, and she's the one that played the auto harp. But A.P. Carter,
Robin.
A.P. Carter would collect these songs. He'd go off into the mountains and be gone. But lo and behold, now there's all this information coming out. It's been out there for a while that the person who was really the key into getting these songs was an African-American friend of his who went around with him, and he was a really fine fiddler and singer. And shoot me, I'm forgetting his name right now, but I'm not real good with names anymore, but I'll get it for you. But the fact is that, A.P. Carter was like the patriarch, but there were 2 women driving this thing. He was gone a little bit too much, and Sarah fell out of love with him and in love with someone else. And I think of this is in the 1930s, late 1920s. And they're living in the Bible Belt. I mean, the heart of the Bible Belt. And she got divorced, which you didn't do back then. And they kept the band together and kept playing music, and they were the #1 radio act in the country, and their music was broadcast from Mexico, where they had no restrictions on the power of the signal, and so their music went all the way up into Nova Scotia. So that's why they're the beginnings of country music. See if I got the right key here. Yeah. So I love the message of this one. It's basically saying, lighten up. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we also may view. Keep on sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. The storm and its fury broke today, crushing hopes that we cherish so dear. The clouds and the storms in time will pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Get that next verse up there, Walter. Let us greet with the song of hope each day. Though the moment be cloudy or fair, let us trust in our Savior always, keeping everyone in His care. So we'll keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. One more time. We'll keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Sometimes it's hard to do. I know sometimes it's hard to keep on the sunny side.
I have to tell you, Walt, that my little cousin thinks that song was written for "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what happens, and every once in a while we need a big hit like that
Yeah,
to
right.
push traditional music out.
That's right. That's right. I completely agree.
Yeah.
It did a lot for that, and also the blues, the acoustic blues, with the Skip James. So Michael Sapp gave you a big heart. He said, "Seep, Sape." Michael, I'm messing up your last name, but you're adorable. Thank you. He gave you a big heart. He loved your song.
That would
And
be Sipe.
Sipe.
Yeah.
Sipe. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Mwah.
See everybody.
Good to see you, Michael.
Michael and I grew up about 4 doors away from each other and didn't know it until
In Baltimore?
in Baltimore.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Well, that is very interesting.
Across the street a few houses.
Baltimore is like that, though. It's one provincial place. I mean, it is a very interesting town. Well, Michael, nice to meet you. I think I've met you before, though. You look very familiar. If I didn't, just pretend I did. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Tell you some stories on you, Pam.
So, no, don't tell stories. Walt, you must die with the things I've told you, okay? So, everyone, once again, we're here at Govans Presbyterian Church, and a little bit about Govans. Govans is Presbyterian Church. We are a Christ-centered church, but we don't believe we're right about everything. We believe the world offers so much more regarding around spirituality and faith. We are a welcoming church. We are a church that is anti-racist by intention. We have a racial justice ministry where we work very hard to heal past, present, and future wounds instilled by white supremacy and all those things that are pretty scary right now. I'd like to introduce you to our pastor are you here? Oh, there you
I'm
are.
here.
Yes, Pastor Tom Harris.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, as always, Walt, for sharing your amazing music and your amazing gifts. Yeah, like Leah said, we just would love to welcome you to Govans. We're anti-racist, we're LGBTQ affirming. We're in Baltimore City in Maryland, but we also are an online church these days and hopefully forever. You can participate in things like Music Monday or racial justice book studies or worship all online if you are wherever you are in the world. We're theologically progressive. On Sunday mornings, we have these wonderful, uplifting worship services. Leah's our 9 a.m. music director. This particular Sunday, we have the MLK Sunday, where Keith Snipes is going to be preaching. Shelley Ensler, who's on this call, will be singing, and Deletta Gillespie will be singing, and Leah will be singing as well. It's going to be quite a celebration of the life and teaching and ministry of Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, so get involved with us. And just one word about Christ-centered. Christ-centered means that you don't have to believe in Jesus, whatever that means, but we do pay attention to the teachings of Jesus. We try to follow those teachings and apply them to our lives. But even more than that, that Christ, the word Christ kind of goes beyond the historical Jesus, and it's that divine light within all of us, the divine within the whole world, and that's what we're trying to lift up within ourselves, within each other, within everybody on earth. So that's what we're all about. We'd love to have you participate. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Tom. Plus, we're fun. Okay? Seriously.
Yeah, we are
Come
fun.
hang out with me virtually. We have a good time. We really do. I promise you. I know I'm fun. I just want to claim that, everybody. Okay? So, Walt, getting back to why we're here. Well, again, Walt Michael is internationally known. He's written music for the Olympics. He's performed live on the Olympics. He's toured the UK, specifically in Scotland. He's the reason why I have a project in Scotland. He is just a phenomenal human being, an amazing musician. Walt.
Oh, well, it's not me, it's us. And that's the wonderful thing about the folk and traditional music scene, is that it really is a very accepting and supportive community of people, of like-minded people who love these old songs and sort of abhor pop music. And when you discover this stuff, I love, one of the things I love about Common Ground is you see people all of a sudden being exposed to this music, and this whole world opens up. And I used to teach a lot of group guitar classes up in Albany for the old songs folks, and I used to tell my students, I said, be careful with this, because this may change your life. This guitar thing, it might change your life. And I've seen people get divorced, because they went on different paths. It's a powerful thing, this music. Now, I'm not advocating divorce, but I'm just saying that it is powerful, and this music will open up worlds to you that you may not have known existed. There's so many people that have no idea that this is happening. It's such an underground thing. So this song, see if you can cue that up for me, Maria. Streets of London. Is it there? Yeah. So this song was written in 1969, and I remember it hitting the scene. It just really took off like crazy in the folk world, and actually made Ralph McTell his career. Can we scroll that up a little? There we go. Thank you. The Streets of London. Have you seen the old man in the closed down market, kicking up the papers with his worn out shoes? In his eyes you'll see no pride, hand held loosely at his side. Yesterday's paper telling yesterday's news. The chorus. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. Have you seen the old girl who walks the streets of London? Dirt in her hair and her clothes in rags. She's no time for talking, she just keeps right on walking, carrying her home in 2 carrier bags. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. In the all-night cafe at 11:15, same old man sitting there on his own, looking at the world over the rim of his teacup. Each tea lasts an hour, and he wanders home alone. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I know it's something, it'll change your mind. I'd like to say that we have a brother here with us who has worked for people described here through his whole career, and that's Tim. Public defender, great guy. Thank you for your work, Tim. Have you seen the old man outside the mission? Memory fading with the medals that he wears. In our winter city, the rain cries a little pity. One more forgotten hero in a world that doesn't care. Oh, how can you tell me you're lonely? Say for you that the sun don't shine. Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something that'll make you change your mind. And how can you tell me you're lonely? Say for you that the sun don't shine. Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something that'll make you change your mind. Ah. Well, those songs are powerful.
So, well, I have a question, and we also have time for about one more song. And speaking of Tim, Tim will be presenting a special Music Monday as soon as we work it out. Tim Scully is a friend of Music Monday, and he's a friend of mine as well. So we look forward to that. So, Walt, who has been historically and contemporaneously? Historically, what musician has influenced you most? I know it's hard to pick out one.
Oh, yeah.
And who do you admire now? Someone who's performing now.
There's just so many.
Right.
And I think that's the whole thing about traditional music, is that it's not about stars, it's about relationships, and it's about sort of the genius that's everywhere. I mean, what we're told is that, the way music works, the way we're taught music, is that there are those who are really good, and boy, they get into the first chair and they compete, and before you know it, by the time you're finished with high school, you're out of it, unless you're a shining star in that music taught that way. But what we know is that we all have music in us, I told Suzanne the other day the thing that she was just humming to herself, and I love that she does that. She says, well, I don't even know what I'm humming, but we are all musical. And so I'm sorry I can't answer your question because I don't know. There are just so many. And, it's powerful stuff. Having said that, I was really lucky to be around Pete Seeger, and when I was just really coming into my own with the music, and I saw the power of his work. And I owe it to a guy named Bill Spence, who taught me the hammer dulcimer. He was my mentor. So I guess I'm such an omnivore that I'll go into any Golden Corral and have a good time, I want to tell for the last song, it's one that you all know, but I don't know how often we sing it with intent and how many opportunities we have to sing this song. As We Shall Overcome. And Maria, if you could, I know it, but I want to make sure C up 2, there we go. I had to figure out which key I would sing these in. My first experience with this song was when I was 15. And I was on a church thing in North Carolina. It was a youth camp, and I was the northernmost kid there. They were all from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. And my parents happened to be there. They went on this camp. It's Lake Junaluska in North Carolina. It's a beautiful place. And one of the things we did at the end of the week was go to Cherokee, North Carolina, on a bus. And we went to see Cherokee and to see this drama called Unto These Hills, which is about how that area got settled. And there's a lot about Native Americans in it. And so we were eating in a restaurant, in several restaurants. And this young teenage girl came in who was part of our group of 50 people or however many it was. And she was crying, and she went up to the ministers who were there, my father among them, and said, they're not serving Matthew. They won't serve Matthew. Matthew was an African missionary who was on this trip. Well, these ministers organized us in like 3 minutes. And we went out in front of this restaurant. They got us into a semicircle. And we faced the restaurant and sang this old hymn, In Christ there is no east or west, in him no north or south, in him just one fellowship of man throughout the whole wide earth. And sheriff came out and said, well, you better be out of here in 5 minutes, or I'm going to set the Indians loose on you. And we're like, what is he talking about? And sure enough, in sort of off to the side, there were these guys who were there. And, these were the times when they could divide people. They were, this was like the early 60s. People were divided against one another. It wasn't soon thereafter that changed. But so we got out of there, we went to the play, and then went home that night. And that night, one of Dr. King's lieutenants was on the bus. I'd really like to know who it was. I didn't know. I was 15 years old. And he taught us We Shall Overcome. They had the whole bus singing. Now these were kids all from the deep South on their, their church outing. And the next day, the ministers pulled this meeting together and got people to, it was basically like this altar call experience where, are you going to commit to justice? It was powerful. And I did. And I was sort of like, well, I don't know about this. This is a little bit too preachy for me, because I had heard enough preaching. I'm a minister's kid. Grandfather's a minister too. And, I just spent too much time in church. But this seemed to make sense, and so I committed. Then, followed a bunch of years. I'm not sure that I, as I look back on it, I did, and it sort of worked out, but not the way it didn't happen in seminary. So, anyway, and it's important to understand that this song, even though it was given credit to Guy and Candy Carawan and Pete Seeger, that it really comes from the African American song tradition, and it's all right there. And it was adapted. It was adapted around the time of the Civil Rights Movement, but this comes right out of the African experience. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we will walk hand in hand someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall all be free someday. There's that someday thing again, right? That farther along thing. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we are not afraid today. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we are not alone today. The whole wide world around, the whole wide world around, the whole wide world around someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe the whole world all around someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Someday.
Bravo.
Well, thanks for listening to my scratchy old nasty voice.
Mm,
I can't wait for this pandemic to be over and I can rehearse with my band and get out there and sing
amen.
someday.
We shall overcome someday. We will live in peace someday because we are not afraid today. Amen, Walt Michael. Thank you so much. Thank you for your music. Thank you for your walk. Thank you for your essence. Thank you for being committed to this work for most of your life, for all of your life. Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us on Music Monday. Let's see, Suzanne from your iPhone. Thank you, Katie Hancock. I wish I could see you, girl. Welcome, Suzanne. Susanna, Nita, hey, babe. And Katie, there you are. There you are, Katie.
There's
I want to
Hans
see that pretty
Palmer.
face.
There's Hans Palmer.
Yeah, there's Hans. Where's Hans?
Hans. All right.
Hey, Hans. Hey, Hans.
How y'all doing? How y'all
We're
doing?
doing well. How you doing, sweetheart? It's good
Mrs.
to see
Gilmore,
you.
it's nice to see you. Walt, you did a great job. Shelly Enzer, I love you so much. And
You too.
Tim,
Yes. Shelly, we love you. We love you. And thank you for being here. Shelly, just thank you for being here. If you want to hear some good singing, join us for Sunday morning, MLK Sunday. Shelly will be singing, and she is phenomenal. Pam, my sister, Pam Zappardino is here. And Jenny, hey, Jenny
Oh, we
Williams,
love you,
Reverend Jenny
Nikki.
Williams. Good to see you. I love you, Pam. You know it. Susan, hey, Susan Senny, and Patrina. That's a beautiful name. Hey, Patrina. And Tim, you know I love you. Jeanette, my girl. Jeanette Gady, you're here. That's right. That's my Music Monday lady. And Robin, I love you. We want to hear you sing soon, too. You join us back at Govans. Robin's a friend of Govans and also a beautiful singer.
Suzanne
Bob,
Knight.
hello. Good to see you, Bob Gelb.
Yeah.
Hello, Bob. And the beautiful woman sitting next to you. Hello, beautiful woman sitting next to Bob.
That's
So-
Florida.
Huh?
Suzanne Knight is down there. I see her.
I
know
did
her.
see Suzanne. That's right. And I said hello to Suzanne because Suzanne is an amazing woman. That Suzanne is Walt's partner in Love Crime. I don't know how to put that.
Love
There you go.
Hey,
Pray for a sister. Pray
I'd
for
like
a sister.
I'd like to say how much I am proud of and admire Hans for his constant presence in the face of Hans goes down and faces down some of these people who are preaching
Yes.
violence.
Yes.
And God bless you, buddy.
Yes. We do. We deeply admire you, Hans. Thank you so much for everything you do to make this world not just a better place, just a just and tolerable place for everyone and all. We have sometimes, guys, we have to fight. And it's okay to put on the whole armor of the Lord, as we say, and to just know that justice is justice and peace is peace, but it's not always free. Sometimes we have to work for it. Maria Wong,
Oh.
love you. Maria, you're important to all of us. Maria's amazing. Thank you, everybody. Good night. See you later. Au revoir. Tot ziens. Goedenavond. Bonsoir. And all those things.